So I've come into my armchair. These are now, I've decided, going to be called Ruby's Armchair Chats. I've moved my armchair to a really nice position in my house, with the lovely stone wall and the feathers behind me. So this is Ruby's Armchair Chats that I've decided these are now going to be on YouTube. I haven't done a video for a very long time because, like everybody else around the world, I've been struggling with my own things and working on my own things too. So this is the first video for a very long time. And in this video, I wanted to talk about how we really, truly heal and release and face any kind of emotional, physical or mental suffering. And it came to me because I was having a conversation with someone the other day about, about what lies underneath things, what's sort of hidden underneath things that on the surface appear to be something else entirely. And, what is it that we really need to do to be able to face them? And also I was talking to that person about spirituality and about spiritual bypassing as well. And it's so easy for you to bypass things spiritually because it's so lovely and wonderful up there, and it's so lovely to connect to, a higher source or a higher feeling or energy, if you like. And you really sometimes cannot know at all that you're bypassing your other stuff, if you like. So that's what made me think of this. And, I think I've got something to add in this area because I do this a lot myself, and I still suffer. I still suffer with on a mental level, an emotional level, and a physical level sometimes. And the differences with me now, I suppose, is that I am really quite adept at working through my suffering when I can see it clearly, and healing it and transmuting it. So I thought I'd share this video because it might help a few other people go through the same process. So I think I spoke on one of my other videos about going astral traveling, or sometimes called out of body experiences or things like that, or astral projection. It's all the same thing, really. So that's where the advice, I guess, comes from in this video, is from my experience of travelling out of my body. And what travelling out of my body has essentially shown me, not understood, not intellectually reading through books, although that did start that way, but actually shown me as a knowing, rather than just a theory, is that life, basically all forms of life, exist on a continuum of vibrational frequencies. So in the simplest terms, I suppose, if you go right to the top, the very top of those vibrational frequencies, it might sound like the highest pitch noise that you could imagine, that probably you can't hear because it's up there. And so the qualities of those vibrations and those frequencies at the highest level are light, they're high, they're clear, they're divine, there's nothing there, there's no matter, they're thin, they're see-through, they're invisible. All of those words kind of describe that highest level vibration and highest level frequency. And then as you go down the continuum of frequency and vibration, basically you get denser and denser and denser and denser and denser, until you find yourself in a physical body, a physical human body that you can feel and touch every day. It's solid and it doesn't change. And that vibration and that frequency is the densest of all of the frequencies. It's a bit like comparing, high-pitched opera singing, for example, to really low drum and bass that when you play it shakes the walls of your house. So as things come down the frequency and vibrations, they get denser. So it becomes denser. And when things become dense, they become solid. So it's a bit like, wide open high frequencies coming down, 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 down until it's something that is completely solid. And when you go out of body traveling, you really see that. You really see yourself shifting from your lowest vibration density, your matter, your physical matter, which is slow to move and slow to change, and you see yourself, or you feel yourself popping up the levels till you get to, you know, different levels. You can stay at any which one you want, but you can also go to the really high levels, and you feel yourself to be no shape, no matter, just a being of light floating around a dimension, existing with full consciousness. And as you then come back down the scale again to density and low vibration and low frequency, you become heavier, more solid, more like matter. And you slow down, and everything slows down. So in a way, our physical life and our physical bodies, they are probably not the lowest or the slowest in terms of frequency and vibration, and probably not the densest either. Probably you can go even lower, but we're right down there at the bottom of the scale. And so everything becomes slow, everything changes slowly. You know, our bodies live for 80 odd years or so, and then they change and transmute into something else. Whereas if you were to ascend to the highest level of frequency or vibration, then actually there is no such thing as change. There's just a constant existence at that high level. So where I'm going with this is that I use that idea or that knowledge that life and all energy forms exist on a continuum of frequencies and vibrations to work through all of my moments of mental, physical and emotional suffering. So if you have knowledge of that frequency-like nature of life, of existence, of energy, then you can use that, you can understand that, you can use it to help you work through your points of suffering that you have while you are a being in this physical body. So we have sometimes, well, mostly, we have three kind of levels of suffering. So you suffer mentally, mental suffering of some kind, you suffer emotionally, and you suffer physically sometimes in your body with aches and pains and traumas and that kind of thing. So I like to think of those three things, or actually four things. I like to think of the physical body, of the emotions, of the mental thoughts in our mind, and of our spirit and soul, like a glass of champagne, a glass of bubbly with a raspberry in it. And I know that sounds like a really strange analogy, but I was thinking about it in the middle of the night, the other night, and it just was perfect. I thought I have to describe this as though I was comparing it to a glass of champagne, because it really works. So if you imagine that your physical body is the raspberry, it's the densest, thickest, heaviest thing in that glass of champagne. And so imagine the raspberry it's grown tired and a bit old, it doesn't float anymore, and it sinks to the bottom of the glass. So the raspberry represents your physical body. Then the champagne itself, the liquid that swirls around the raspberry, represents your emotions, all your feelings and emotions in your body. Then the fizz, the little sparkle and the fizz and the popping on the top of the champagne, represents your thoughts and your mind. And the glass that wraps around everything represents your spirit or your soul. It represents it's see-through, it's clear, it's invisible, you can't necessarily see it. Glass is see-through. And unlike how many people believe that we are a physical body and a physical entity, and within the walls and the boundaries of our physical body, we are holding a spirit or a soul within that. And when that physical body is broken open or released or dies, then therefore the soul and the spirit escapes, if you like. And many people think of the body as the container, but actually when you go out of body traveling, you realize actually the body isn't really the container, and there's many layers of your spiritual self. There's many versions of your spiritual self vibrating at totally different frequencies and repeating itself continuously. There's a version of your soul in the first layer, then there's another version of your soul in the next layer, and they're all part of a continuum. They're all one but separate at the same time, if that makes any sense, because they're all on one continuum, but they experience themselves at different levels and different vibrations. So we think of the glass actually as the soul and the spirit are wrapped around the other lower, denser frequencies and vibrations of your thoughts and your feelings and your body. Actually, your spirit and your soul, the glass, is the container for those lower density things. It is holding those rather than your physical body or your thoughts or emotions holding your spirit. Actually, it feels like it's the other way around. So if we take that analogy and if we focus on, say, so let me just first of all kind of share what's in my mind about the different frequencies. So the raspberry is the lowest, densest, slowest frequency and vibration of all of them. It's physical matter, so therefore it doesn't change very often, and when it does, it takes a very long time. So it's slower and it takes longer, it's denser, it's heavier, it's thicker. So that's how I'm describing the vibrations and the frequencies in the body. The next level up, if you like, is your emotions. They're still dense, thick and heavy. They're still a low vibration, but they're slightly higher than the physical body, and therefore they're slightly faster. So emotions, they still take, sometimes, they can be really slow to pass. They can sometimes take years to pass, actually. And everything happens on a slow level with emotions. They move and they pass slowly, but they do so a little bit quicker than things happening and occurring in your body. And then your thoughts are another level higher, so they are lighter and they're a higher frequency and vibration, so therefore they go faster, so things move faster, so your thoughts move faster, quicker. When you have mental suffering, it usually happens on a quicker, more rapid scale or of speed. So it sits above the emotions. And then you've got the glass, which is your soul or your spirit or whatever you want to call it, and things happen even faster on that level. Actually, things happen so fast that often you're not really consciously aware. But if you are really finely tuned in to your spirit self, your higher self, your soul self, whatever you want to call it, then you will notice that things occur even more rapidly than thoughts. So if you go out of body traveling, you're essentially shifting your consciousness to your soul vehicle, your spiritual vehicle only, and you're taking all your consciousness away from your physical body and from your emotions, and you shift into this spiritual body, if you like, which is another level higher in terms of frequency and vibrations than your mind and your thoughts. And you notice that when you're in that form and you're walking around your house, you can say something and it will instantaneously occur. You can say stand up and you are up before you've even finished saying the word stand up. There's almost no delay. It's immediate. So I really like this idea. I really feel that there's some truth in this idea of speed, of frequency and density of vibration as you go up the levels. So we've got to use that in our physical world. When we're in our bodies, we've got to use that knowledge and that idea to help us overcome our points of suffering. And so everything exists on this continuum. So what do I do when I'm in any of those stages of suffering? I go to the layer below it. So I don't go to the layer above it. And this is a big this is spiritual bypassing, and this is a big misconception with a lot of people who are on a spiritual journey, is the answer to the suffering you have on a physical level, your physical pain, or emotional level, or a mental level. The answer is to go upwards, up the chain, up the ladder, to a higher spiritual frequency, a higher density, to something more spiritual, and solve your problems there, find release there. But actually, I found in all the years that I've been experimenting and playing with this, that doesn't really work, because you're not working with those layers and densities and frequencies on their continuum in the best possible way. You're not making use of them. You're ignoring the denser, thicker, slower, lower vibrations below, and you're going straight up to the higher frequencies. But if you forget those frequencies below, they're still going to be there. They're still going to be blocked at that level, and they're still going to come back and bring you back and try and keep bringing you back down to that level. And again, the other thing I wanted to share about frequency and vibrations, like the nature of frequency and vibrations is that like attracts like, that you put two together of the same frequency or the same vibration, what happens is it's harmonious, it's not inharmonious. So, you know, if you think about when you might be attracted to someone, so if you're vibrating and your frequency levels are very similar, then it has a harmonious flowing feel. It works together and it flows. If you come across somebody who is vibrating and has frequencies at totally different level to you, whether they're extremely high up or extremely low down and dense, then it doesn't work. There's just something about that person that just doesn't fit, and it doesn't work. It's not easy. Communication is not easy. So it's the same with working with your emotions and your thoughts and mental suffering and your your physical pain. What you need to be doing with it is meeting it at the same vibrational, the same frequency level as what you are experiencing. And that doesn't make it worse. That doesn't feed more of the same vibration and frequency into it and therefore make it worse, because it all depends on your intention that you put behind it, the power that you have to put behind it. If you were perhaps to say, okay, I've got physical pain in my body and I'm going to meet this physical pain at the same vibrational level and frequency level as it exists itself, then, and you hold that with the intention of increasing your suffering because you desire that suffering and you wish it to stay, then probably that will do it. That will be a pretty good way to make sure that your physical pain in your body doesn't go away or doesn't heal and doesn't, transmute. So it's all about the intention that you do it with, and the healing intention behind it. So if you have a physical pain, actually, let's start at emotions. If you have emotional suffering, you are going through some kind of emotional suffering. Instead of going up to the next level, to your mind or to your thoughts even, or even, to a higher meditative spiritual level, what it's calling you to do is to go to the level below, is to go to the level of your physical body and physical sensations in your body, because all emotions all express themselves as physical pain, injuries, illnesses in your body. And basically what you do with this is, it's a bit like if anyone's ever done Vipassana meditation. They really train you. I mean, I cannot recommend it enough. If you want a complete thorough training in how to focus on aches and pains and problems in your physical body and master it and be able to hold that space, then do a 10-day Vipassana silent meditation retreat. It is the best training ground you could ever get for that kind of thing. So you have an emotional problem and you're suffering emotionally. So then what you need to do is you need to acknowledge that. You need to set your intentions to heal it. That's the first thing. And it just has to be quick. It just has to be a quick but meaningful, powerful intention that I'm going to do this now because I'm going to heal it. And we're not looking to get rid of it. We're looking to go in it. Like I've said in my other videos, you go into it. You transmute it by facing it and going into it. So it isn't avoidance, you face it head on. So I have my emotional suffering. Now I would like to go into it. I would like to heal it. I would like to transmute it. So you sit with yourself, you sit with your physical body. And sometimes this can be really hard because your emotional pain can be so intense that it causes severe physical pain in your body. So you acknowledge the emotion, you set your intentions for wanting to heal, and then you sit and you focus all your attention all over your physical body. You move from part to part of your physical body. You become aware of all of your physical senses. You explore your physical body for as long as you possibly can. And you work through the layers. You work through your skin, your bones, your organs, your muscles. You work through everything, just noticing where the aches are, where the pains are, where the pangs of pains that suddenly come are, because pangs of pains are a really good sign that you're directing your energy and your focus where you need to be directing it. And your body will sort of knock on the door and go, hello, here I am. Here's a pang. Here's a big, a sudden, unexplained, intense bit of pain in your body will come knocking at the door. And you need to stay there and you need to focus on it. And give when you find a pain in your body, give it your 100% attention. All with the intention of healing and releasing the emotion that goes with it. So what you're doing with that is you're going to the level below, you're going to the frequency below, you're finding the underlying frequency or vibrational glitch, let's call it, that's a good word. So you're going down the continuum, down the chain if you like, you're going into the lower, denser, slower part of yourself, you're finding the glitch in the system, and you're focusing your awareness on it and setting your intentions, and by focusing your awareness on it, giving it all of your conscious attention, you are healing it, you are transmuting it, you are straightening the kink or smoothing out the glitch, you are feeding it conscious attention, you are charging it with your conscious energy and boosting it, like it's like electricity, you're giving it a boost of electricity, you're straightening things out again. And then you'll find when you focus all your energy on that and you sort out those glitches at a physical level, your emotions then have space and room to move and to heal, and then everything ripples upwards, and then your emotions start to uncrease and you start to smooth out the glitch in your emotions as well. So then if you have, let's say, you're suffering on a mental level, then again, don't go upwards, go downwards or inwards, whatever way you want to say it. So you are suffering mentally, you have a mental health problem, you have OCD, you have anxiety, you have intrusive thoughts, or you have depression, or whatever your mental health difficulty is, go to the next layer below. So this time it's about emotions, because any mental problems, any thought patterns or stuckness in the mind has an underlying emotion that is feeding it. It's emotions. Mental health problems are fed by emotions that have not yet been healed, that are trying to move along the continuum, and they're trying to heal. So you need to focus at the emotional level, at the heart level. So again, it's about sitting with yourself quietly. It's about setting your intention to say, I wish to heal now, and I'm setting my intention to move this along. And then sit, and instead of concentrating on physical sensations, though there would be no harm in doing that if you wanted to, but try to keep your focus on your emotions, on your feelings. What do I feel? What am I feeling? If I'm having these thoughts and this mental suffering, what does that mean? What am I feeling? And just keep watching, keep looking, keep observing until feelings start to arise, and they will start to arise. And again, focus all your conscious energy on those feelings. Feed them that conscious, higher vibrational light, which is your conscious attention, onto those emotions when you find them. Power them up, unkink them, recharge them, give them the power of your conscious attention to allow them to move, to uncrease, to unfold, and to flow again, and to shift up the vibrational scale, if you like. And so I haven't talked about physical pain yet. So because we've gone right to the top, we've gone from emotions up to mental. So now I'm going to go back down to physical pain. So if your issue is physical and you have physical aches and pains in your body, then actually a lot of the time you need to go even lower down the scale, if you like, of density and frequency. So actually it's about opening your root chakra, it's about connecting to Mother Earth, even lying out on the ground, out on some grass or some leaves in a wood, or with your back against a tree or your arms around a tree. Physical pains and sensations actually need to be dealt with on a Mother Earth frequency level. I can't remember what the frequency is for Earth itself. I could be wrong about this, but it's something like 7 hertz. There's a frequency for Mother Earth, and actually all of those physical aches and pains and illnesses need to be dealt with on that level. They need to be released and given back to Mother Earth and moved on through your root chakra, rather than trying to connect with them on a spiritual level and going straight to the top with your physical problems. So first of all, you push them out of your root chakra, you deal with them, you give them back to Mother Earth, and you take your vibrations even lower. And then like a spiral, just like a spiral, you go back up the spiral again. And I understand from my out-of-body experiences this continuum of frequency and vibrations in life that creates life. I understand it to be a spiral. And so you're going down with your suffering, the different levels of your suffering, you're going down. And then when you've gone down, you reverse and you come back up again and you spiral back up. And they're all connected to each other. They are all linked to each other. When you work on one level, you are also working on another level. But you are choosing the level at which is expressing itself the most, with the most power and with the most obvious symptoms, if you like, in your mind or your body or your emotions. And you're focusing on that level, but it will be having an effect like a spiral on all other levels. So you treat everything, you go down first, you go down the scale, down the frequencies, down the vibrations, finding the layer underneath the point at which you're suffering. So for mental suffering, it's your emotions you go down to or into. For emotional suffering, it's your physical body you go down or into. For your physical pain or illness, it's down into Mother Earth, your root chakra, that you go down into. And listening to low vibration, 7 hertz frequency type things for your physical body. Then when you feel that you've visited it like that enough and you've cleared it to a certain degree, you then work back up the spiral again. You then come to your physical sensations and your aches and your pains, and you seek the emotional expressions of what that might be. What's the emotions that might be causing this physical pain in my body? Then you work up again. I am suffering emotionally. These are my emotions. You work upwards. What are the mental thoughts? What are the thought patterns that are causing my emotional suffering right now? And how can I question those? And how can I observe those fully and transform them into something else? So it's like, and when you've gone down once and you've gone up once, then you're in a pretty good place where you're ready to open your crown chakra and to connect to a much higher source of energy, of a much higher frequency and vibrational level. So anyone who tells you to deal with your suffering always by going straight up the continuum to the highest possible level, I don't think fully understands this idea of a continuum of frequency and a continuum up and down in a spiral-like nature of vibrations and frequencies. And it's about movement, and it's about harmony, and it's about harmonizing the whole chain, if you like. The whole continuum from top to bottom needs to be in order and unkinked and smoothed out and buzzing and alive with energy, free-flowing and powerful, in order for your true God connection, your true source connection to unfold, and for you to find that spiritual power, for you to flow with spiritual power and to find your way to enlightenment and unfoldment. You need to be working at all of these levels on the continuum at the same time, because they are all ultimately the same thing. So just try to remember that spiral-like nature of things, and the working downwards, always working downwards. When you have acute suffering of any kind, acute mental suffering, emotional or physical, whenever it becomes acute, then the best thing to do is to work down the spiral to the layers underneath and focus your conscious attention on it. And just by focusing your conscious attention and setting your intentions, it's almost like you are feeding a healing light to that particular acute problem, which is really a kink in the chain, or a stuck point, or a twist in the frequency or vibration that's just got a bit tangled and jangled and isn't quite working or harmonizing properly. So I hope that has been helpful and is a good tool for you to use. I use it all the time. I use that method all the time of going to the layer below, working with that idea of frequencies and vibrations and different densities up and down the spiral, and it really does work. It really clears out the lower vibrational density stuff that often keeps us stuck, so that we're really unable to move upwards, if you like, to a higher expression of ourselves. And I'm talking about OBEs and astral traveling. When you do that process on a regular basis, you're basically harmonizing your own continuum, if you like, of vibrations and frequencies. And when you harmonize them like that, when you harmonize them all together so that they're vibrating smoothly, if you like, then you're much more likely to experience out-of-body travel, astral travel. and when you do, it's likely to become a lot easier too, because the whole continuum is in harmony with each other, is the best way of describing it, I guess. So hope that's helpful, and I will see you next time in my for another Ruby's Armchair Chat.